Welcome back to What Do You Got, episode 3, with me, Jay, and Baldwin. Lot of shit happened this weekend, boys. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But I do want to start, Baldwin, you have heard about this, Jay. I don't know if you have. A very close friend of ours, Jay, this weekend recently found out that in football, the away team wears white. And he was 100% serious about it. I have thought through every single scenario how you possibly couldn't know that. And the only thing I land on is that he is just not there in the head. Because he's a very big sports fan. He might be the biggest sports fan of all of us.
It's crazy. The only way I could think of is basketball white you wear home. Is that the only way? But I don't even know if you would know that.
Early 2000s though, even like they don't even do that anymore. I feel like.
No.
So baseball. I could see baseball, right?
Baseball,
But
you wear white at home.
how do you watch football your entire life? College and pro. Now I get that there's a few exceptions. With the Dolphins wear white at home, the Cowboys wear white at home. Sometimes the Panthers throw it in there. Sometimes the Browns throw it in there. But, like, that's 1/8 of the league that sometimes do it. And I don't, besides LSU, I don't know if anyone does it in college. So that blew my mind.
That's wild. That's actually crazy. My goodness. That's kind of funny.
I know. Well, at least we're smarter than that. That's why we have a platform. Because we're certified ball knowers and jersey knowers around here. All right. Well, now that we got that blasphemy out of the way, we'll get into the first game, arguably the biggest game of the weekend. Ole Miss goes down, blows the lead late in the game, and ends up losing in Athens, Georgia. Down goes one undefeated team this weekend.
If you were watching this game with no stake in it, that was a great watch, I would assume. Not much defense played. Yep, Jaybird had no stake in it. I definitely had a stake in it, rooting for Ole Miss, so that was unfortunate. Takeaways, though, for Ole Miss. Trinidad, everyone's talking about all week. First big road game, never played in front of that many fans. He was awesome until probably the fourth quarter, but you can't ask too much of him. So that was awesome. But also, Gunnar Stockton's probably the man of the week. He was 26 of 31, 289 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown, so 5 total touchdowns. And then he had like 60 yards on top of it. Yeah, the Ole Miss defense did not get a single stop the whole game. That was crazy. I actually have a little bone to pick with Pete Golding, who is the third highest paid defensive coordinator, which I bet most people would not guess. He came in 2 years ago. I mean, he did turn the defense around a little bit, and last year the defense was pretty good. But I don't understand how you're the third highest paid defensive coordinator and you don't get a single stop the whole game. I feel like you got to go out of your way to not try to stop. Like, have one stop the whole game. Now, I will say the 4th and 1 play, if you guys remember, we had like 3 guys in the backfield on the 4th and 1. If we make that tackle and we were up 9, if that shifts and we make that tackle, we're probably not sitting here talking about that. We're probably sitting here talking about how Ole Miss looks legit and beat Georgia. Like, that was a big swing in the game. But, yeah, not one single stop is crazy. So that's what I have to say about Pete Golding. We need to figure that out.
Yeah, Baldwin, you talked about it. One thing I wrote down about this game was Ole Miss, I don't think they really know how to tackle. I think they just pray they can push someone out of bounds on the sidelines. Their open field tackling was ridiculous. On Gunnar Stockton's rushing touchdown, they had 2 guys in the backfield. They should have had him dead to rights. Instead, Gunnar Stockton makes a play and is able to score. Georgia absolutely dominated the line of scrimmage. They had 3 different ball carriers have at least 10 carries and 50-plus yards. Yeah, I thought great game for Georgia. I think they kind of cleared up all the questions anyone would have had about them going into the week.
I knew you had some passion in you, Baldy. I loved that. I loved every second of it. Just want to throw that out there. I knew you had it in there. You dug deep. Just took your own team to get you a little fired up, huh? All right, a few things. Gunnar Stockton, about ready to call him the Jalen Hurts of college football. There are wide open receivers on about half their plays, and he just doesn't see them, but he doesn't turn the ball over. Like, he is just a very safe guy, and for Georgia, I mean, that's all you really need, obviously, considering they didn't have to punt. And he still didn't hit the open guys, but I want to, like, at what point do we talk about Trinidad Chambliss genuinely being a top 5 quarterback in the country? Like certified. I mean, this guy is unfazed, another 300 total yards, another 3 touchdowns, first road start in a top 5 to 10 environment, and this guy is unfazed. He didn't punt till the fourth quarter. He kept him in it even though his defense couldn't tackle. That game was in Ole Miss's hands because of Trinidad Chambliss for most of that game, and there were just a few plays at the end they couldn't capitalize on. But that guy is unbelievable. He shoots out of a cannon when he takes off and runs, and he's one of the hardest people to tackle. The second thing I do want to touch on is I was very confident that Lane Kiffin was not going to go to Florida, and that loss and losing in that way, that week that they fired their coach, couldn't have come at literally any worse of a time for Ole Miss, considering they couldn't get a stop because they were just clearly outmanned by Georgia's offense on their defense. And like you said, Baldwin, Pete Golding couldn't stop water from going into a glass. Like, literally just couldn't do anything to stop that defense. And if they go into Norman, Oklahoma and lose, I think Lane Kiffin's actually going to have to sit down with his family and be like, how badly do you want to stay in Oxford? The timing couldn't be any worse. I think he's going to stay, but if they lose to Oklahoma, I'm going to be genuinely a little bit worried.
I wouldn't be worried. I would be horrified. If they lose to Oklahoma, I would bet the house that Kiffin is up and he out of there. I mean, one thing I liked about Ole Miss in that game is that offense clearly showed they can hang with anyone in the country. And if defensively they can figure it out, they can seriously make some noise in the college football playoffs. Now, that starts with them learning how to tackle and learning how to play zone coverage, because clearly their communication is terrible and there's someone wide open on every single play. And I want to give a shout out to Lawson Lucky, who had 3 touchdowns and was fantastic for Georgia, especially in the low red area, using his big tight end frame. A great game for him. Huge game for him.
Lane Kiffin's gone. It's the end of the story.
Is he going to Florida or Penn State? Now that's the next question.
Well, he's going to Florida. Florida's literally waiting on him.
Well, here's the question is, if they go into Oklahoma and they lose,
Gone.
you think it's because, I mean, we saw what happened in 22 when the Auburn rumors came around. Same exact situation. Started undefeated. I think we were 7-0. Went 1-4 to finish the season. Now, if that happens this year,
Gone.
I mean, that's just kind of a clear tell that clearly he didn't know what he was going to do in 22, and he lost the locker room because they were just. It's hard to play for a guy that you don't know if he's committed there, I guess. So they had their press conference on Monday. I don't believe it came up. I didn't see anything on it. I didn't see him address it. I didn't see anyone ask. Did anybody see anything? Was there a report?
The only thing I saw was Sunday night. They were like having a regular Zoom meeting, and like someone said something about it. He was just like no comment, but then talked about like how we're trying to give him an extension, basically. So he was like, "Oh yeah, like it's an honor to get an extension, like show that the program's been able to do this and all that." But like the one thing I will say, there's about 2022 and now. Is I feel like it won't drag out the whole season. Like I feel like we're gonna know it's gonna get leaked, or like we're gonna know at some point before the end of the season. Because like what happens if, let's say we lose to Oklahoma, but like we don't have that downturn, we go 10-2, make the playoffs. I mean you're gonna know if Florida still doesn't have a coach and we're still in the middle of the playoffs that Lane Kiffin's probably going. But for some reason I feel like it'll come out sooner. So he might just leave mid-season, which would be wild.
That's some shit I could see Lane Kiffin doing.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be hilarious. They're like, all right, well, we lost 3 games. Our season's basically over. I'm out of here. Go Gators. But I don't know. Yeah, I think that this might be one of the biggest games in Ole Miss history in terms of this upcoming week at Norman, Oklahoma. I think if you guys want any chance to keep Lane Kiffin, you have to win. I think it's a huge game for Ole Miss, a massive game in terms of the future of that program. Because if Lane Kiffin goes, I could see Ole Miss just bleeding from the seams and just falling apart and just falling to irrelevancy. I know you guys might not want to hear that as Ole Miss fans, but who's going to step in and replace Kiff?
I mean, it's
Pride, maybe.
It's definitely possible. We've seen it with other programs. I mean, look at Florida, themselves since Urban Meyer, dude. I mean, they really haven't done anything. But what I'm a little concerned about is that they openly said a week ago that they want to give him an extension, and that just literally hasn't been done. And Kurt Cignetti, they came out and said we're going to try and extend him. They got it done within 36 hours. So what is holding him back? Because if they're offering you more money and you're just saying we'll wait till the end of the year, well, that's a red flag that you're thinking about other options.
Did you hear what Kirk said? He said about how quick that conversation was with the AD about him wanting to sign an extension. So there's about a 30-minute conversation. The AD was like, "Yo, we're thinking about giving you an extension." He goes, "Have your people talk to my people," and then it was done 36 hours later.
Done.
So clearly, he never wanted to leave.
Yeah, I mean, we'll only find out, I guess, in the next few weeks. But
yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah. All right. Well, the next undefeated that went down, Miami, Friday Night Lights. Looked like shit against Louisville. Classic Carson Beck was back.
Yeah, the pick Carson Beck was back. The one thing I want to talk about Carson Beck, not only did he throw 4 picks, the last pick, obviously the crucial one, after the game he came out and kind of threw his player under the bus. I thought that was just completely wrong. You threw 3 other picks, dude. I don't think that one might have been on your player, which sure, but you had 3 other picks that were completely your fault that probably lost you the game because it was a close game even after all those turnovers. So that is your fault. And he decided to come out and just shit talk his teammate, which I thought was just completely wrong. And the one thing on Louisville that they were able to win the game, obviously their defense is legit, but I think what they did to mitigate the Miami's defensive line, because that defensive line is owned to everyone, is they just got the ball out fast. Miller Moss was calm, cool, and collected. So that whole time. So I thought that's why Louisville was able to win the game. They just did not let Miller Moss hold on to the ball. Because anyways, he probably would have thrown 3 picks if he held on to the ball for too long.
Got the ball out quick. It was accurate. Decisive with the football, Miller Moss was. And Chris Bell had a huge game for the Louisville Cardinals. He looked unguardable. Louisville was also able to hold Miami to 2.6 yards per carry. I believe they held him under 70 rushing yards and completely took away the line of scrimmage. Made Carson Pitts throw the football. He threw 4 interceptions. Malachi Tony, I know they lost Baldwin. You said in the last episode that you think Malachi Tony might be the best true freshman in the country. He is 1, maybe 2. He is for sure up there. There's another young star down there in Provo, Utah, named Bear Bachmeyer, who's a baller, who's on that list as well. But, I mean, even the loss, Malachi Tony had an unbelievable football game. Yeah, and shout out to Louisville. They were able to get the lead early, hold on to the lead, make Carson Beck throw the football. Tom, I have a question for you. Last episode, you said Carson Beck would be your first overall pick. After throwing 4 interceptions and blaming the loss on his tight end who ran the wrong route, not taking accountability for the 3 other picks, and how he looked like dog shit. Is he still a franchise guy, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, I think that clip is a little taken a little bit out of proportion. He started it by saying there was a miscommunication, right? Which is fine. I do think he talked a little bit too much by saying that he ran the wrong route. That's obviously not great. One game doesn't define you, I would say. I would say his odds of being the number 1 pick are not great right now. But if they run the table, they go 11-1, and he looks good. He's not throwing too many interceptions like he was early on in the year. I think he's still got a chance to be in that first round debate, but he's definitely a scheme fit somewhere in an offense that not too many people run anymore. I could see him with the Raiders, doing something there with a little play action with Genty, something like that, but he's not really a guy that's going to necessarily turn your franchise around. He's a guy where you have the pieces around him and he can dish him the ball as he was doing the first 7 weeks in Miami. But he had a rough game, man. But there's someone that's not getting enough talk for Comeback Player of the Year right now, and that's Hannah Cavender. Because she was having a rough go for the first 6 weeks, watching that dude yuck the ball, go 6-0, national championship predictions, and she's sitting back on a Friday night saying, woo, that's my man's right there. He's back, throwing 4 interceptions, 1 game, selling the game. You know what I mean? She's back in it. Her sister, Jake Ferg, her sister's fiance, Jake Ferg, top 3 in the NFL in receptions out of anybody, not just tight ends. Balling out. She could have been dating the Heisman frontrunner, but I bet she wishes now to be exactly where she is, watching his downfall. Right in front of everybody's eyes, especially on a Friday night when that's the best game on.
All right, clearly the Cavender twins like football players. I want a prediction out of both of you. I got one as well on who will be. Which one is it?
Hannah?
Hannah. Who will be Hannah's next boyfriend? Let's create a little prediction poll here. Let's have a little bit of fun. Switch it up.
Joe Milton.
I fucking love Joe Milton. That would be amazing. Joe Milton's already winning at life, man. Someone trade for Joe Milton. Let's not get started on Joe Milton. Love that take, Tom. Go on, what you got?
Will Levis might come out of nowhere. You never know.
That's a good one right there, because he's got to get back into the spotlight, considering he is so trash at football. But he actually might be below her standards because he's so bad at football. Obviously,
I'm going with the man in Tennessee. The man in Nashville. In Nashville, Tennessee. Give me Diego Pavia. Oh, she stays in the
Diego.
Oh, breaking news. Hannah Cavender cheats on breaking news. Diego Pavia cheats on Tate McRae with Hannah Cavender.
Wow.
And he hits the Heisman.
Yeah. I mean, if he does that, automatic Heisman. I take him first overall, personally, but wow, yeah, that's my prediction. I got Hannah Cavender going back to the SEC, finding herself a QB in Diego Pavia, and then Diego Pavia's gonna be so excited. He's gonna let Theo Vaughn bang his mother multiple times. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be a win-win situation for the whole country. Wow. Everyone should be fired up about it.
4-way gangbang. Diego, Theo Vaughn, Diego's mom, and Hannah Cavender. Shit, make it 5. Tate McRae's holding the camera.
All right, nope. Time for Texas Tech versus Arizona State. What you guys think of that matchup?
Oh, boy.
Let me touch on this. To start, Baldwin, welcome to college football. It's very hard to win 12 straight games. As we found out very quickly this weekend, it's very hard to win 12 straight games no matter what your payroll is. The second thing I want to say is that when is the country going to stop doubting Kenny and Sam? Because when they are both on the field at the same time, they are phenomenal. ASU had that game in the bag. They almost blew it at the end, but they had that game in the bag the entire time. Sam Levitt's arm is unreal. He had 2 throws in the first half. I don't know if you guys saw those. One of them, basically a post route. He's rolling out left. He gets cracked, right? The guy's pretty open, but he launches it 50 yards downfield as he's getting cracked, dude. Right in the bucket. Guy gets tripped up at the 10. Barely got him. And I believe he had one. I don't know if it was, what was it? It was a corner route, maybe? I don't remember the second one.
I don't know the exact route, but I know what the throw you're talking about. The ball was by the sidelines. It was a great throw.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, Sam Levitt, he struggled, obviously, in that Mississippi State game, but there's no reason that ASU shouldn't be in that Big 12 mix. They're my favorites to win. I mean, that's a game you have to win. They don't play anyone outlandish the rest of the year. They took care of business against TCU. Obviously, that Utah game, a little bit brutal. Playing in Utah with the worst quarterback ever, Jeff Sims, 7th year. You know, maybe that guy should put on some weight and play right tackle or something, because QB hasn't worked out for him at any school he's been at. But ASU looks good. I get they don't have Cam Scat, but no one picked him in the Big 12 preseason. When you look at the coaches poll, It was Iowa State, Kansas State, still Texas Tech. I mean, they were like fourth or fifth when all the coaches got the pick, and I thought that was a little bit crazy. I mean, these guys almost won a playoff game last year, and like I said, I get they lost Cam Scat, Raleek Brown, I believe his name is, not a bad replacement at all. He's a former 5-star, and they still got Jordan Tyson, who they didn't have in that playoff game that they almost won, and obviously Levitt coming back and Kenny D running the offense.
Yeah, I mean, like you touched on it. Texas Tech found out not invincible. But the only thing I will say about that is they did have a backup playing. So that I would say I think it would be different because at the end of the day, Texas Tech was up late. They were still winning a ball game with a backup. Obviously, their backup was probably more serviceable than a lot of other backups. But that is another point. And Sam Levitt, like you said, complete dog. Jordan Tyson was a dog. I mean, those are probably two future NFL players, and they both showed up. So that's probably why they won the game. But yeah, basically Texas Tech's still my favorites. I don't care that they lost. Yeah.
Well, the only thing is now, if ASU is able to run the table, BYU, who doesn't really play anyone, Texas Tech is now on the outside looking in right now in their current juncture. Granted, like Tom said, it's really hard to win 12 straight football games, and BYU obviously would have to do that in order to secure their spot. But right now, Texas Tech is going to be on the outside looking in of the Big 12 championship game. But yeah, one other person I want to shout out was the ASU kicker, man. That dude was fantastic with his drippy little arm sleeve on, and he was money. One thing I would like to see, though, I think that obviously, like with a team that has playoff inspirations and thinks they can probably win a national title, you have to cap off more of those drives. You had a chance to really bury Texas Tech, and you couldn't finish off drives. You have to get 6 instead of 3. There was too many points left on the board for ASU. I think ASU clearly could have just buried Texas Tech early. Instead, Texas Tech's defense able to make a couple of very nice stands and force that field goal kicker out and dripper kicker with the arm sleeve. No one, I don't know why he wears an arm sleeve. It makes no sense, but you know what they say: look good, feel good, play good. And that man was automatic.
Yeah, I want to shout out Will Hammond too. Like you said, ball they had their backup in. He might have had the throw of the year to the left side of the end zone in between two defenders. You know, no angle to overturn it. The guy might not have caught it, but it was the only possible spot you could have thrown the ball 50 yards down the field. It was unreal. It's probably the best throw I've seen this season. He's pretty good, but yeah, I mean, having a backup, that changes everything. But clearly they were comfortable enough to put him in there in a big game like that because Baron Morton was technically an emergency quarterback for the game. They didn't want to, you know, they thought they had enough with Hammond to keep him in, and you know, Kenny D just got it done. First top 10 win since Jaden Daniels beat Oregon. A little fun there. All right. Well, here we go, boys. Let's put your opinions to the test. As we saw, a few coaches get canned in the last week. Trent Dilfer, UAB, which shout out UAB. They put on a good show this weekend. Really messed up the playoff race for the American. Billy Napier, sad to see you go, brother. And Colorado State also just canned their coach a few hours after Billy Napier. So my question to y'all is, who do you guys think is the next coach fired in college football?
I'm definitely going to Auburn. I think Arkansas wins this weekend, and the rumor on the street is if that happens, Hugh Freeze is out of there. And, yeah, I mean, I think Auburn's seeing all these other big programs firing their coaches. They want to get in the mix this year because I think there's a lot of good coaches out there. So I think Hugh Freeze is gone on Sunday. So, yeah, that's my prediction.
Love that. I want to say Luke Fickell, but it sounds like Wisconsin's gonna grind it out with him another year and put those poor fans through another year of bullshit football. So I hope that's not true, but I'm gonna take a swing here. I'm gonna go Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly's gonna get canned. He's had a disappointing tenure so far at LSU. They have yet to make the playoffs under Brian Kelly. They haven't looked great under Brian Kelly. This year you go in, you got what should be the number one quarterback off the board, according to everyone, right? Lee Corso picks it to win the national championship. And now you already have two huge losses. That win against Clemson, who is absolutely terrible, and that just game was supposed to be maybe a national championship preview. Both of those teams do not look good. I think Brian Kelly could be on the chopping block, especially with the way coaches are getting canned nowadays. I could see LSU trying to get themselves in the mix for one of these big coaches. Maybe go after a swing like guy like Lane Kiffin. I think they're going to want to get in the mix here with all these other big programs, especially if Auburn leaves. But there's going to be a lot of SEC openings. I think Brian Kelly might be the next to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between who I think is going to be the next and who I think should be the next. To me, who should be, I don't care what the buyout is. You guys know I was open about this last season. Mike Norvell should have been gone after week 8 last year when they were 2-6, because there's a point where you go 13-0. Obviously, they didn't make it in. And then the next season, you go 2-10 after starting the year, preseason top 10. It's one thing to go 6-6, 7-5, hell, even 8-4. You guys went 2-10. He clearly lost the locker room, and that's exactly what's happening again. You just lost to Stanford, who is, quite frankly, besides Wisconsin, maybe the worst Power 4 team in all of football. And they look terrible. I get Thomas Castellanos went down late in the game, but it shouldn't have mattered because you guys should have been up by 40. Anyway, you clearly have the talent, and there's clearly an internal issue there, and I think he's the guy. And I think they should have eaten the payout right then and there, because now they're going to have to ride it out with him again. Clearly, what do you do now at 3-4? I'd be willing to bet that they're going to lose another 2 to 3 games at least this season. Now, that out of the way, who I think is going to be, I'm with you, Baldwin. Hugh Freeze, obviously not favored against Arkansas this week. Not a good look at all. He's openly praying for the AD's support in his interviews. That's a little desperate right there. And it's not like what's going on right now is anything new. Last season, they scored over 24 points one time against a Power 4 team. One time they scored over 24 points. So this is an issue that's gone on for 2 years now. He refuses to take Jackson Arnold out. What I will say, he did comment on that. He said he owes it to the fans to see if there's another spark out there if things start to sputter, as if they haven't sputtered already, first off. And who he's talking about is not Deuce Knight. It's Ashton Daniels, transfer from Stanford, who they originally planned to redshirt this season. And he has openly come out and said Ashton Daniels will not be redshirting anymore. If I had to guess, Ashton Daniels is going to be their starter next week, or this weekend against Arkansas. Now, the question is Deuce Knight already fed up with the Auburn program, and he's just deciding to redshirt to weigh his options and not waste the season right now? Because that's where I'm leaning, if somehow he's not the next option to go in there.
I mean, yeah, how can he not be fed up? I mean, it's Ashton Daniels is like maybe the most aggressively mid quarterback ever, and they're going to take a chance with someone who is just completely mid over a very highly touted freshman who has elite arm strength, is a dual threat, and we're going to go with the mid quarterback with my job on the line. I'm going to ask James because he's experienced, even though it's at Stanford where he played like shit, who fucking sucks at football. I just don't understand that. If I'm Deuce Knight, I'm out. I'd enter the portal now. I'd just be like, can I leave now? Like, this is a shit show. Wait, but then you never know, right? All of a sudden they bring in a big name. Maybe he wants to stay around. So that's another question, is because unless they win out, Hugh Freeze is gone. So I would think that Deuce Knight probably will not be an Auburn Tiger unless they had an absolute home run of a hire and that guy's able to keep Deuce Knight around.
So Deuce Knight might be hopping in the portal on Sunday. That's basically what we're saying. Because that's when it's capable for him.
Yeah,
I think once this coach gets fired.
If I had to guess, he'll ride it out and see who they hire.
Yeah.
Next guy comes in and just says, yeah, you're starting. I don't see why he'd get up and leave if he likes the coach. But it's how do we keep talking about Auburn on this fucking show? Because they are so bad. And, I mean, we haven't had an episode go by where we haven't just sat here and just shit on them for like 10 minutes. And
they should not be this bad.
We need to just stop talking about them. And I think that's where we're at right now. I mean, unless they beat Alabama down the road, I don't know if we're going to bring them up unless Hugh Freeze does get canned. But this is ridiculous what's going on. All right, with that being said, let's get into the next segment. AP poll came out, fellas. There's some intriguing things on there, some intriguing teams and intriguing spots. We're going to go too high, too low, or just right for a few teams. Too high means, obviously, if there's a team ranked 6th, then you think they should be 10. That's a little too high in your mind. If there's a 15th ranked team, you think they should be 10. That's a little too low. And if they're just right, that one's pretty self-explanatory. The first one, I'm sure that caught everybody's eye when they first saw the AP poll, is Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, I think the AP probably had him too low like before this week because they just randomly shot up 5 spots for beating Duke. I mean, it was a very impressive win. I mean, on the road as an underdog. So, I mean, I think they're probably taking that into consideration. But I think their ranking's perfectly fine. I mean, they're undefeated ACC team. They played absolutely no one. That's the argument against that. But at the end of the day, they're 7-0, and you can't discount them. I mean, we're going to talk about this later, but BYU is also 7-0. So, I mean, like, I think if you're undefeated at this point in a Power 4 conference, you should probably be top 10 or, like, you should probably be top 10 if you're in a Power 4 and undefeated. So, that would be my take on Georgia Tech. I think they're perfect right now. And you could argue a few little switches, but otherwise than that, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's just right. I think Baldwin hit it exactly on the head. They're undefeated, but they haven't played anyone, so you can't put them above Alabama with a loss. There are other teams who have one loss, so I think should be ahead of them. But yeah, I think they're just right. I think that they're undefeated, and they've squeaked by a couple of okay teams. But I mean, 7 wins in a row is 7 wins in a row, no matter how you twist it. So I think it's impressive. And I think 7 is a great spot for them.
See, I think it's too high. Like you said earlier, Baldwin, BYU is at 11, and I think their resume is significantly better. I understand they're in the Big 12, but you're looking at Georgia Tech, who just beat a 4-3 Duke team, and they rose up 5 spots. Like, to me, that's like, if you really thought they should have been higher, they should have been higher before that. I don't understand how they rise up 5 spots after beating a 4-3 team. I get they beat Clemson, who's now 3-4. But it's not like they're blowing anyone out. Like, BYU just handled Utah, like, pretty easily. And, like, I don't understand how you can look at that and be like, Georgia Tech is clearly better. Because 4 spots is a lot when you're talking about the top 10. I think they should be around the 9-10 range. I think most people, if you sat here right now, would tell you Ole Miss would beat them. I think if you sat here right now, most people would tell you Miami would probably beat them, no matter where the game is played. Obviously, Miami had a bad week this week, but they looked like an undeniably top 3 team a week ago. So, yeah, they had an off week, but I think 90% of people would agree that Miami would most likely beat Georgia Tech if they had to play. Now, we'll get into Vandy in a second here, but I wouldn't rank them ahead of Vanderbilt right now, I don't think. Like, I don't know. I don't understand where they're going. I'm going to get frustrated in these next few picks. I already know it. Just like I don't know what's going on with the AP poll, but I don't think they know what's going on either. All right, Miami. Like I said, I just touched on that. Bad loss at home. I understand that, but they've looked great every other week. So, like, one bad game I don't think defines you, especially when you play a team that also has one loss, that has some decent wins this year also. Like, to drop from 3 or from were they 2 to drop from 2 to 9, like, I don't know. I think it's a bad loss, but I think they're just right. If you were to just take Georgia Tech out of there and replace them with someone else, I think Miami's just right there. But I think they'll be fine. They're still probably going to make the playoffs in my eyes. They have a good win against Notre Dame. Like, for a one-loss team, I think they 100% deserve to be in the top 10. I like where Miami's at.
Yeah, I mean, I might just be a Miami hater because I said they should drop farther. But I looking back on it, I mean, they did lose to probably a pretty good team. Louisville's probably top of the ACC. But I just think being at home and losing, I mean, it was on a Friday, but that shouldn't matter. And just 14-point favorites. Also, like, the AP's probably not taking that into consideration either. But I just think that was bad. Being at home, being the number 2 team in the country, losing, I think, is just bad. So, I mean, it's probably just right at the 9 spot, but I would definitely not have them any higher. just in the weak ACC, like if you lose one game, like you should probably tank down.
This team has 2 wins over top 20 teams. Notre Dame, who will most likely run the table and go to the college football playoff, and they manhandled USF, who has looked great in every other game. I think they're way too low. I think one loss to a Jeff Brown Louisville team. You know Jeff Brown's pulling off one upset per year, and you drop them that low to 9. I think that's a little crazy. It's really hard to win 12 games. It's very hard. And I think that them dropping that far for losing to a ranked team who also only has 1 loss, and that loss was to another ranked team also in the ACC, I think it's a little ridiculous. I think that they're way too low. I think this is a fantastic football team. Carson Beck had 1 bad game. I think 9's a little low for them. I think that they should be much higher than that. With the resume they have, the wins they have, the way they have won these games, I think they deserve to be higher than 9. I know they're coming off the loss this week, so that's always fresh in the AP voters' minds, but I think that they're way too low.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will bounce back up, too, as the season goes on. A few more teams will lose, and I think they'll be in the top 5 by the end. I think they're still very much in for a bye. If they run the table, win the ACC, I think they're probably going to get a bye regardless, if that's the case scenario. But, all right, we'll go into the SEC now. Vanderbilt, big win against LSU.
Yeah, this is the team that probably pisses me off the most because generally if it wasn't just known as Vandy, they would probably be arguably a top 5 team. But I think they should be right at 6. I don't understand how you can have Oregon above them necessarily. I mean, so they each have 1 loss. Oregon got kind of whooped by Indiana, the number 2 team in the country, and Vandy lost to the number 4 team in the country, which it was really 2 red zone picks away from a different ball game. So I don't understand how that's possible. Maybe it's because, the recency. No, because Oregon, I really just don't understand how Vandy's not in the 6th spot above Oregon based off their resume.
I think Vanderbilt's way too high. What resume are you looking at that I'm not looking at? They beat LSU, who might be the most fraudulent team in the country. They got manhandled by Alabama. The 2 red zone picks. Well, they still fucking threw them, right? Doesn't matter. If he doesn't turn the ball over. Well, yeah, no shit, ball. If you turn the ball over, it's going to be a different game. But he still fucking did it. They have a win over the most fraudulent team in the country. And what besides that have they done? I think they're going to lose to Missouri this weekend. And I'm going to look like a genius, and you're going to look like a fucking idiot, Baldwin. I'm sorry, kind of a little hard there on you. I was a little mean, I'll be honest. I'm feeling myself a little bit. I'm kind of fired up because I think Vanderbilt's just fucking not
Vandy's going to beat Mizzou this weekend, and then where are they going to be ranked?
If they beat Mizzou, put them in the top 5, but they're not fucking beating Mizzou.
So shoot them up 5 spots?
Yeah, Mizzou's good as hell. Mizzou lost to 3 to Bama.
LSU probably played their best game of the weekend last week, and Vandy still won by 7.
Because LSU's not good, Baldwin. They're not good. They're terrible.
Well, and LSU played their best game and still lost to Vandy. And I know, of course, the picks, obviously it happened. But, if they don't happen, Vandy arguably fucking beats Bama pretty handedly.
They turn the ball over twice in scoring position. Baldwin, doesn't matter.
No.
Oh, if you didn't turn the ball over, they're going to win the football game. Well, no shit. If you never turn the ball over, you probably
It means you were able to move the ball, and you had 2 plays dictate your outcome. That's what I mean by that.
Shit,
of
if
course
you
they
move the
have.
ball, you can't finish a drive.
No, obviously. But the point is, you were able to move the ball against them if that didn't happen.
Here, Baldwin. Fucking
We agree to disagree. Vandy should be 6.
Vandy should be 13th or 20th. They fucking suck.
Yeah, dude, I'm with Jay here. I mean, I'm going to jump around for a second here because how is Vandy 10 and then Mizzou is 15? When you look at common opponents, and they both played Alabama. I get Vandy was on the road and Mizzou was home. Mizzou had a literal chance to win the game on the last drive. They lost the game by 3, and Vandy got absolutely butt spanked. They lost by 16 points, and somehow Vandy's 5 spots ahead of them. I get they beat LSU. Mizzou just went into Jordan-Hare, which is not an easy place to play. They didn't play their best game. They still came out on top in overtime. That's a good win in my eyes. I understand Auburn's terrible, but going into that place is a tough place to play. And then you got Vandy over here beating LSU. I'm not taking anything away from Vanderbilt. This is more of how do you rank them 10 and Mizzou 15. I'm just really confused on how that could possibly play out because I get you beat LSU. Mizzou has a pretty decent win against Kansas too. They beat Kansas by a good amount. That's nothing to take away from them. I get they're not LSU,
And it's a rivalry game,
but
too.
like where's the difference here when Mizzou has a solid win in Jordan Hare and then Vandy won at home against LSU? But you look at their common opponents. That's the number one thing I look at. And they played Alabama 10 times closer than Vanderbilt did. So I don't know.
They played South Carolina too. I know Lenore's got hurt, but Vandy plowed South Carolina
Mizzou won
away.
by
That fucking sucks.
Mizzou still won.
I get that, but it's almost talking about common opponents. Vandy whooped South Carolina away, and Mizzou won by 9 at home.
Do you know what the
I
score
know
was when
Lenore-
Lenore Sellers went down? It was a one possession.
Yeah, it was
game.
like first quarter.
It was a one possession game. Exactly. They couldn't throw. Do you know who Luke Doty is? Who their backup
No,
quarterback is at South
Luke Doty's
Carolina? He's been there for
terrible.
5 years, and he moved to receiver for the last 3. And they're like, we don't have a backup quarterback, so we're throwing Luke Doty in there. Literally incapable of throwing the football. That game is completely different if Lenore Sellers is in. More than likely. Obviously, I can't say that with absolute certainty. But I'm looking at common opponents of who played when everybody played, and that's Alabama, who's the number 4 team in the country. Now, I don't think Vandy should be 15 either. I think Mizzou should be higher, but I think Mizzou should be ahead of Vanderbilt, literally simply based off that game. We're going to find out this weekend. Don't get me wrong, right? Game day. And I like what Vanderbilt's doing. I think they're a very good team. I don't think we should doubt them. This is more of a Mizzou rant as to why they're 15 and 5 spots behind Vanderbilt. They should at least be 1 or 2. Like, it's one thing if you put them at 11 and Vandy's 10. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fight over one spot. We're going to find out this week.
But
Clearly,
5 is
for some reason,
ridiculous.
they're valuing Vanderbilt for 5 spots more than Mizzou. That's what I don't
They
understand.
got the drip. Just because they have Diego Pablo who's taking the world by storm. That's why. It's fucking media bias. It's stupid.
They should be 6, man.
They should be 6, bro.
What is
They're
your
ahead
AP
of
top
who?
25?
You think they should be ahead of Ole Miss?
You want?
You
I'll
think they
list
should
my
be ahead of
top
Ole
10.
Miss?
Yeah, can we hear your top 10?
And Oregon?
Yeah.
They should not. Oregon throttled literally everybody they played before Indiana, and yeah, they got caught off guard. That was
throttled
Dante
again
Moore's
this
first
week.
big game.
All right, you want the top 10? Ohio State, Indiana, Bama, A&M, Georgia, Vandy, Oregon, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, BYU.
You got Georgia Tech at Ole Miss, bro. What the fuck is wrong with you?
What do you mean? They're undefeated. You can't punish a team.
Bad
beating
shit
who
in
they
training,
beat.
Baldwin.
They dominated Georgia for 3 quarters, bro. How are you putting Vanderbilt ahead of them? That makes 0 sense to me. Their one loss was against Alabama by 16. And Ole Miss went into the same scenario, away environment, and literally hung with Georgia the entire game besides the 4th quarter.
They were one stop away at any point in that football game from probably winning the goddamn game.
They both beat
But they
LSU
didn't make the
at
stop.
home.
Georgia
And
Tech might
LSU
drop 50 on Ole Miss if they play tomorrow.
And
Like,
Ole Miss-
who knows?
Georgia
Ole
Tech's
Miss literally
dropping
played-
50?
They
Bro.
might the way the defense fucking
Bro,
looks.
you suck off Josh Pate so much. It
How?
grinds my gears.
Yeah, Josh Payton.
What take
love
is
Josh
Josh
Pate, bro. I
Payton
love
here?
Josh Pate, but literally anything he says, you're fucking slurping that shit, bro. Literally. I
Where?
swear to God.
Where is a Josh Pate
That's the
take
only
in here?
reason you hype up Georgia Tech and Vandy. Vandy at 6 is absolute blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy.
That's low-key embarrassing. Like, that's
That is not a Josh Pate take.
That's absolutely Josh Pate take. He's
We'll
gonna-
see on Thursday where he has him.
How much money
I
you
bet
gotta
I still
pay
have
on
him
the
higher.
Missouri Vanderbilt game? You name the price tag, I'll fucking run it.
What, on the Mizzou Vandy game?
Yeah, and don't say I want Mizzou, because you have to take Vanderbilt. You got them in the fucking.
I'll
six.
fucking take Vandy. Vandy's legit as fuck.
Vandy's good. They're a good football team. Don't
good.
get me wrong.
They're a top 15 team. They're a top 15
They're a top
team.
15 team, but they're not 10 in the country. They're not better than Missouri. Missouri's gonna prove it on Saturday.
See, I wouldn't even fight for them at 10. I'm not even mad that they're 10.
Vandy's one loss is Bama.
By 16! Mizzou's been
Missouri
losing Bama
by 3!
By 3! Ole Miss, 1 possession loss on the road against Georgia. Mizzou, 1 possession loss.
Mizzou was at
against
home.
Alabama.
Like, that
Vandy
matters.
Absolutely butt spanked by Alabama. So how the hell are we putting Vandy ahead of both of those teams in your eyes? That makes 0 sense. Because they beat LSU, Ole Miss throttled LSU, dude. That game was technically 5 points, but Mizzou won that game Ole Miss won that game by 10 in my eyes, dude.
But they didn't. You can't go both ways on
That
this.
was a little crazy. I'll be honest.
You can't go
Back-
both ways.
Did you not see a touchdown or something?
A backdoor cover at the end, bro. LSU was never going to win that game. Ole Miss was in
That's
control of
fair.
that the entire time. LSU was in it the entire time with Vandy, bro. They were in it the entire time. And I'm not taking
Like,
that away from
Vanderbilt
Vandy.
really never had a
more
chance
LSU.
to
I don't
Alabama.
think LSU is that good. But when I'm looking at common opponents, I'm looking at Vandy technically beat them by 2 more points than Ole Miss did. Same exact scenario at home. But then I'm looking at common opponents, Alabama, Mizzou, Vandy. And it's not even close what just occurred. And then I'm looking at Ole Miss against Georgia on the road. They whooped them. I don't understand how you could possibly have Vandy ahead of them.
No, that's absolutely like just crazy to me. You know what? I kind of hope.
I don't think it's crazy.
Because if Vanderbilt wins, you're gonna look like a fucking genius. Everyone's gonna be like, "Damn, this ball's getting all this fucking."
Vandy's
ball.
just fucking good.
I'm not saying they're not
You
good.
are.
I think they could be a playoff team. I'm not saying that they can't be a
I don't
playoff
think
team.
they're making the playoffs. That's crazy.
But I think that the split difference is just a lot between them and Mizzou right now, personally. And I mean, we basically just covered Mizzou. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Mizzou at 15s? What do you think that's?
It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous.
I
I don't think it's ludicrous at all.
I think
If
it's
you're gonna put
ludicrous.
Vanderbilt at 10 and Missouri at 15, it's fucking ludicrous.
So you think Mizzou should be 15 and Vandy should be 6? Is that what you're
Vandy,
telling me right now?
Mizzou should probably be. I think Vandy should be ahead of Mizzou.
I'm not arguing.
Yes,
that's a
fine.
fair
We understand
argument.
that you're missing brain cells.
If you want to say they should be ahead of them by 1 or 2 spots, you know what? There's an argument there. If you're saying 7 or 8 right now, that's where I'm like, what are you watching? What are you watching if you think Vanderbilt should be 7 spots ahead of Mizzou right now at this point in time? That makes 0 sense to me.
I just think Vandy's that. Like when I watch Vandy, I think they're a top 10 team.
When Diego has to throw the ball, he literally poops himself taking his 3-step drop. When he's
And
not
he'll
allowed
make
to
a
run.
play. He'll make a play.
When he's not allowed to run, he's like literally farting as he's taking each step on it.
He dropped 31 on LSU's defense. They haven't let that much up all year.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll give you that. That's impressive. Good for them.
LSU sucks too, dude. They
LSU's
need
terrible.
to fucking figure it out over there. I don't know what's going on
LSU
with
has to
them.
win out now, and they still have to play Texas A&M on the 25th.
And
So,
Alabama.
Yeah, it's over for Texas.
Yeah,
LSU.
LSU's probably done. Another team I would have over Vandy, BYU. I'm
Oh my
done.
God,
I'm
absolutely.
done doubting them. I'm done doubting BYU because they just manhandled Utah in that rivalry game. Obviously, they were home, big advantage. Also, want to throw out there, great rivalry, most underrated rivalry in college football.
Whoa, hey, wait. Can we save this for the BYU Utah segment?
Yeah, we can. We can wait.
Because we're gonna run through that whole material right now.
But
Because
yes.
I got a lot of stuff to talk about in that game.
yes,
That was a
But-
fucking fantastic football game.
BYU, I know we just compared Vandy and Mizzou. I'm comparing BYU and Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's best win is 4-3, Duke on the road. BYU is also undefeated, and they just beat Utah, who throttled ASU, who's now looking good. I know that's college football math. We're going the wrong way right now, but I'm looking at best wins, and I'm more impressed with BYU than I am Georgia Tech all day. I don't know how Georgia Tech can be 4 spots ahead of Brigham Young right now. That's another one I'm questioning. Once again, if it was 7-8, 9-10, something like that, cool. 7-11, really confused what's going on there.
Love it. I concur with what he said.
Yeah, I mean BYU. I don't understand this script. I mean, the only one is I don't see the difference between them and Georgia Tech. So as much as I was hyping up Georgia Tech too, I don't understand the difference between those teams. Besides the bias of saying I don't think BYU is that good, which, like, I think BYU is probably not going to win the Big 12. But how can you keep down them? They're undefeated, just like Georgia Tech. So it's like they can only beat who they played and win. They've won every game. So I just think they should be near each other, wherever that is, a couple spots lower, or move BYU up a couple spots. But
Yeah, that was pretty easy. BYU, we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
bickering there. That's
No.
awesome. All
Keep
right.
that one simple.
We kind of covered Mizzou. Do we have to go over that? I guess you guys didn't really say if you thought they were too high, too low. Baldy said-
Somewhere in that, I think you can understand that. I think they're too low.
And Baldy said they were just right. 9
Yeah.
spots behind Vandy.
Yeah, ludicrous. Your new name is ludicrous.
All right.
You are.
Vandy in the 6.
All right. Let's go to the next one, which, to be honest, I think this is the worst ranking of them all. Louisville
Oh,
at
this
19.
is so bad. This is so bad. This is so bad.
What are we doing? Do you guys know who's 18 right now?
Honestly, no.
South Florida.
I
The
mean,
team that
don't
got
sleep on the
throttled by
Bulls
Miami
now.
in the team that got throttled by Miami in the same exact scenario,
Yeah.
bro.
No. Yeah. I love the Bulls, but that's fucking absurd. They lost by 35, and
What are they doing?
Louisville beat them.
What are they doing?
I think it's absolutely insane that
How are they one spot
Louisville's.
behind them? Now
I
I
don't know
get
how
it. So,
Louisville's not a.
so how the AP works? Obviously, everyone submits their vote, but this means that more of the voters decided that USF should be ahead of Louisville, and I am so confused as to how they came to that realization.
At what universe do you watch the game against? Both teams have a common opponent. One lost by 35, the other won by 3. And yet, as much as I love the Bulls, don't get me wrong, how the hell is Louisville behind them? They have one loss to Virginia, a good football team. And then they won it and went to Hard Rock and beat the U down. I guess U down. But I think just their ranking is crazy. Maybe the craziest ranking I've ever seen. They just came out and beat a top 30 football team in the country. And they're 19th with only one loss to a ranked opponent. What? What's going on here? That has to be a joke.
I would agree with you guys. They should be above USF. But the only thing I would say is about the USF thing is they probably have better wins. I know they have a common opponent, which becomes the argument. Yes, Jay, USF has better wins than Louisville. I mean, unless
you think their wins over North Texas and Florida and Boise State are enough to justify the 35. 36,
I'm saying the other games.
Difference in the game between them and Florida when they both played the common opponent.
I'm not saying it justifies it. I'm saying that's why they're right near each other. Literally, the only thing I would change, anyways, I think Louisville's ranking's fine, is switch them in USF. Otherwise, I think they're fine. So what? They should move up one spot.
I think maybe
Is my point.
One.
Other than that, Louisville is probably in the right spot. This is my point.
I would argue Louisville should be ahead of Tennessee right now. I'll say
I'm
it.
also going to argue that.
I'll say
Tennessee
it.
has 2 losses.
Tennessee hasn't dominated a single game against multiple bottom tier SEC teams.
That's
And
SEC
also
bias.
have 2 losses. They competed against Georgia. They didn't compete against Alabama. And Louisville just went in there on a team that people were starting to realize they could possibly win the national championship, and they just whooped them.
Yeah, I think
That's the argument I would make over them. And I'm a big SEC bias guy. I think that the SEC bias is 100% real, and I believe in it. I think it should be real. But Louisville also beat Pitt, who right now is undefeated in SEC play or ACC play besides that game. That's their only ACC loss right now. Miami's only ACC loss. Louisville. Virginia, undefeated in ACC play right now. No, they lost. Well, technically, because they lost.
Louisville lost to Virginia.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
They lost to a team that's undefeated. They've only played ACC teams that literally haven't lost in conference play right now. And they didn't play anyone at the beginning of the year.
You could totally argue above Tennessee. I mean, I feel like that's an argument, though. I feel like that could go either way.
I don't think. What's the argument?
SEC bias. There's an argument. There's an argument for it. I would say I would argue for Louisville. I don't know. I think 19 to be 4-1 and your only loss is to the number 16 team, and you literally beat the number 2 team in the country. At 4-1, if you beat the number 2 team in the country, in my eyes, you're up there.
It's minimum top 15, probably top 10, but minimum top 15.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in the ACC, and apparently,
well, you can't put them ahead of Virginia.
No, you can't. I would just raise
maybe
Virginia
should be a top
then.
15 team.
Virginia's literally one possession away from being undefeated right now too. I mean, that was a bad loss to NC State, and they blew that game. But I don't know. I'm done. I'm done doubting all these random ass teams that are good. Well, BYU's easy to stop doubting because they were actually good last year. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think that's pretty low for Louisville, considering they have one loss and they just beat the number 2 team in what they went from unranked to 19. Come on, give them some credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I would like to touch on, here's my pitch to the AP poll commissioner, whoever runs it. I think you should cut down half the voters as the season goes along. Because there are some people where if you look at individual voters who vote, because it's 60 voters or something, I think if your rankings are just so incredibly off the first 6 weeks of the season, Worst 10 through the first 3 weeks, you're out.
Gone.
Next 3 weeks, worst 10, you're out. Like, because this is like, I mean, obviously it doesn't affect the playoff, but this is how we college football fans view it. You know, in the middle of the season, and all we do is hate on it. I'm convinced that they do stuff just to get people talking at this point.
Yeah.
Because who was that one chick that had when USF went into Florida and beat Florida? She brought Florida up 2 spots and didn't rank USF. Like, you should literally lose your vote instantly. You should not have a vote.
You
Because
should
no
be allowed
one
to
in
watch
there.
college football. You should be banned from the sport.
It's like that was the biggest win of the week, and you just watched it happen. It's not like some freak stuff happened where USF got bailed or something like that. It's not like they were home. Like they went into
like
Florida.
The football team.
Yeah, they went into Florida and beat them. Like how does that happen? And stuff like I don't understand how stuff like that works. Like we should literally cut down from 60 to 40 voters as the season goes on. Like you should have to earn your keep.
I think just get rid of the AP system. What good does it do? It means nothing. It means nothing.
It does mean nothing, but it
makes
gets people talking.
argue.
So maybe that's why they do it.
Yeah, it means nothing. Just who cares if there's no numbers next to your name until the first college football playoff ranking comes out? Who knows? Maybe they'll get rid of some of the bias there is around, well, what people believe is bias in the college football playoff rankings. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. I think just get rid of the AP pool. It's stupid. It makes no sense. They do a terrible job. Bald. I think you'd be an unreal AP voter. Based on some of the takes you've had earlier, I think that's your future career.
You think I'd get kicked out if I had Vandy at 6 this week?
And Mizzou at 15,
No, they
I
probably
would be like,
praised
who is
you
this
on
guy?
it. They'd be like, this guy's the future of the AP pool.
Dude, I'm not even gonna argue. Like, if you look at Vandy one way, I feel like at this point you have to look at Mizzou as like a very similar team, like within like 3 spots. I don't know how they're like so different to where like that's the only thing I'm confused on.
You know what the best part of all of this is? They literally are going to play each other on Saturday.
We're gonna
Would
find
you
out.
say? Well, I would say Vandy played a better game against Bama, even though about the score, and that's where you guys would disagree.
We got to move on. We have to move on.
Pavia threw 4 picks. He threw 4
That's
picks.
insane. In what?
All right. Speaking of Vandy, they throttled LSU. Well, let's get
Did
into
Mizzou ever
it.
had the lead?
LSU can't score. That's all I have to say. And Vandy is a contender for the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're not. That basically sums up what I have to say about this game.
Yeah, Diego Pavia looked fantastic. That LSU Clemson matchup might be the most like overhyped matchup ever. Like that matchup just means absolutely nothing now. Both teams are just complete dog shit. Clark Lee has them boys rolling down there in Vandy, but that all ends next weekend. Shout out them for getting game day. Shout out Clark Lee for bringing back Vandy from the dead. Diego Pavia, shout out him for looking fantastic in his future relationship with one of the Cavanagh twins. But yeah, that's they beat the most R-rated football team in the world. Good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's not much to say. LSU sucks. I do feel like LSU had their best offensive game and still lost. Probably because they had one of their worst defensive games, if I had to guess. I don't know that for sure. But yeah, like Tom said, Vandy, college football playoff contender.
Pretender. I do not think Vanderbilt's very good. I think they're just like so.
We'll
They
see
got
this
ass-
week, Jay.
Yeah, we will see this week. And that's the beauty of it. I'm either going to come out here looking like an ass clown or people are going to be like, this kid might be on something. We'll see.
Dude, Diego Pavia is so clearly being mentored by Johnny Manziel. I feel like no matter what the guy says to the public, everyone just assumes it's a joke, and he literally couldn't be more serious about it. And then he hits the Heisman this week, and now we're at the point where we actually have to ask ourselves, wait, like, is this justified? Like, if he does beat Mizzou at game day, like on a nationally televised game, like this guy is going to be top 3 in the Heisman voting odds.
Like if he plays his ass off, like that's a Heisman moment, like for sure. Like bringing Vanderbilt back from the dead, game day's there, and you come off a huge win against LSU. You do it back-to-back weeks. That's a Heisman moment. It's not going to happen, but it'll be cool.
I love Diego Pavia. I know people have
Can you not
different
love
opinions
Diego
on him. This guy's awesome. Literally, no matter what he says, no one takes it seriously, and he backs it up. Like, why are they 6-1 right now? Like, what is going on? And I know we just talked about them, how they're underrated or they're overrated or whatever. Not even overrated, but they're not different from Mizzou. That's what I want to say. I think Vanderbilt is really good. They've surpassed
I think they're
expectations this year.
overrated.
But this is just crazy what's going on.
Yeah. It's good times.
All right. Bama throttled Tennessee this weekend.
Is Bama the best team in the country? Like, are they? There's no team I'd want to face. Like, there's no team I'd want to face less than, I don't know how to word this correctly, but if I'm looking ahead, like route to the college football playoff, if I see Bama, I'm shitting my pants.
Yeah.
Like, they look unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bama looks electric. But you guys are probably going to hate on me for this because they lost by 17. So I'm going to get more hate. We can just keep it coming. I think the game was a lot closer than the score, once again. I don't know how. If you look at the total yards, they're the same amount of yards. Obviously, the turnovers happened, and that's why they won by 17.
99-yard pick six.
Yes, and then the safety where Joey Aguilar looks like he doesn't know how to move and just trips over his lineman. That was pretty funny. That happened too. And then he threw another inside the 10-yard pick. That also happened. So obviously, did they happen? Yes. But I'm saying throttled, I don't know is the right word. Like,
what do you have against red zone turnovers?
Because it doesn't mean you throttled them. It means you're 2 plays away from the game being completely different.
Dude, last week we talked about how LSU and South Carolina both had 75% red zone percentages, which is completely terrible. And red zone percentage is like the most important stat in football. Because if you can't score,
doesn't give a shit about
if you can't score, you can't win.
That's just not true.
And it's
I
not
care
like
about
it
the
happened.
turnovers inside the red zone.
It's not like it happened once in that game. Like it happened twice, and they lost by 17, my boy. So, like I said, I get what you're saying. Similar yards, but capitalizing on drives.
It's huge. I get it. I get it.
I don't think
they
throttle about winning games and winning big games.
I don't think they throttled them. Now, they did throttle their offensive line. That's what I'll give you. They destroyed Tennessee's offensive line. But I don't think it was, like, that bad. Like,
the thing is, their defense is literally so bad. Like, they can't – they should be running away with some of these games. And, like, that's one where, like, they literally can't stop the offense. They gave up – what? They went to overtime with Mississippi State. And then – Arkansas, like, they gave up 30-plus points again. Like, Arkansas's putting up numbers. I get that. But, like, dude, you look at Texas A&M against Mississippi State, and Mississippi State literally looked like they were last year.
Yeah, but Arkansas just dropped, like, 40 on A&M.
I think Tennessee's defense is, like...
Yeah. No, it's bad.
It's just a huge problem. A huge problem. And, dude, in my opinion, I look at that score, 17. I get they had similar yards. But you also got to take in the fact that when you have a 90-plus yard pick six, that's basically 2 drives for Tennessee compared to Alabama's 1.
My point is it's a 14-point swing. So like that's a bit like if you're a Tennessee fan, you're sitting here and saying, man, like obviously you're like, I wish I had that back. Is my point. Because that game could be completely different otherwise.
It could also be completely different if Bama's not up by 10 points and their offense is completely different and they still have to throw the ball and open up their entire offense. Like,
true. That's why we'll never know, and that's why you have to – that it did happen. But that's my point. Like, if you're a Tennessee fan sitting here, that game could be completely different. Obviously, it happened.
I thought that game was over after the pick six before half. Like, as soon as that pick happened, I was like, yeah, this one's over. That was the nail in the coffin for Tennessee. And, I mean, once that play, for me, it was just, that's over. Bama's clearly the better football team. Joey Aguilar is fine, but you can't throw that interception. Worst comes to worst, you ground it and you take the 3 points. But throwing a 99-yard pick six, oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, Tennessee might be done here pretty shortly, too, once they take on who do they got? Oh, Vandy. Woo-hoo! Tennessee, Vandy. Oh, buddy.
I think they're going to get that one.
Oh, buddy. They might.
Actually, they might not. I don't know.
We might come back to reality. But, last game was the Holy War, man, which we were saying earlier might be the most underrated rivalry in football. They hate each other, close proximity. You know, it goes back to, for some reason, I always hear of some Utah kid growing up that wanted to go there that ends up at BYU, including Kalani Sitake, the head coach at BYU. He coached at Utah for 20 years. Zach Wilson wanted to go to Utah, like his dad. Didn't get offered, had to go to BYU. And they're both wearing colored jerseys. I mean,
oh my God, it was
electric.
Amazing. Under the lights.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Electric. Bring that back. I know UCLA and USC used to do that. It's awesome. Colors popping, man, clearly. You're not getting confused. It's all red on all blue, man. Like, this is awesome. I enjoyed every second of that game.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to stop doubting BYU. I don't know why I keep doing it. I'm officially not going to doubt them anymore. Bear Bachmeier, I think I'm saying that right. He's just not flashy, but he just gets the job done. He had a little flash in there with a couple hurdles, though. That was pretty sick. I don't think he's flashy, Jay. I just don't. Gets the job done, though, like stat line-wise. Also, I will never forget Devin Dampier's game against UCLA. I thought it was a second coming to Jesus Christ. He looked a little lost against BYU's defense, which is credit to BYU, because I still think he's pretty good. It was just that defense kind of made him look lost on a couple plays. But yeah, shout out BYU. I believe in him now.
First of all, the name Holy War might be just like the best name in all of sports. Like, that's an unreal way to start it. Then you get two teams wearing their color rush uniforms under the lights. Second of all, big noon kickoff is there. Granted, we have ESPN game day at home, but that's besides the point. And that atmosphere was amazing. Last year when it was at Utah, the atmosphere was amazing. These two teams clearly hate each other, and the announcers did a fantastic job. I think one of the most underrated parts of the game was when Bear Meyer had that rushing touchdown to pretty much win it, and you hear the announcer go, "There's a bear loose in Provo." I mean, that made my skin tingle a little bit. There's one problem I have with this game, and that is Bear Brockmeyer. I want to be a Bear Brockmeyer fan. His name is Bear. First of all, that's fucking awesome. This dude's hurdling people as a quarterback. Also fucking awesome. But he wears number 47. What are we doing here, bro? You are a drippy, true freshman quarterback who's athletic, and you choose to wear number 47? That is the ugliest shit I have ever seen in my life. Like, I want to root for Utah. I want to see them win. I love his connection with Chase Roberts. I think it's the most underrated duo in the country. But he wears number 47. I can't condone this. I can't be a fan of a team whose quarterback is number 47. It's an embarrassment to the sport. Unless one of you guys can tell me a reason, and it better be fucking cool, why he wears 47, I'm out on Bear Brockmeyer, and it pains me to say. Just change your fucking number, dude.
So he wears 47 to pay homage to his childhood football number, where he was a running back and linebacker, and he has yet to change it.
That's fucking stupid.
Bear Bachmeier also has a clip. He has a viral clip of when he was in high school. It's like the anti-Lamar Jackson clip where he literally just, in the same corner of the end zone, just runs the guy over, just sits him on his ass. Whereas Lamar hit that juke, where he like threw his hands up. Bear just runs him over. You hear it. Like, it's so loud. Viral clip. We'll put it up there for the clip. It's unbelievable. But Bear Bachmeier's him, and he deserves to wear number 47. I agree with both of you. He is not flashy and flashy at the same time. This guy is a pure football guy. He lost 3 defenders, one of them by hurdling him, and then dragged another 4 into the end zone with him to seal the game. And instead of celebrating, the guy just sprints to the bench on the opposite side of the field. This guy's running off. Everyone's like cheering, trying to high-five him, and he's just head down, running. Just sits down, picks up the iPad, starts looking at film. You're up by 10 points with 3 minutes to go. You just sealed the game, and you don't care. All business. Number 47, Bear Bachmeier. Fire me up.
My favorite player of that game, though, something I didn't touch, I was too busy ranting about how I don't like Bear Brockmeier's jersey, is Devin Johnson, a DB for BYU. First of all, ball player. Second of all, got flagged for a bullshit pass interference late in the game. Actually, it was not bullshit. It totally was. But I love him. He's a ball player. He wears number 0. He's got the double arm sleeve. He's a ball player. He might be my new favorite defensive player in all of college football after watching the Holy War. He's a ball player, man. Ball player. I want to give him a shout out.
Does that top off the BYU Utah recap?
It does.
Does that mean it's time?
That
Does that
does.
mean it's time?
Trivia time.
What an episode.
What do you got? Trivia.
I have a pretty simple trivia today. Okay? I have 11 names in front of me. They are the top 11 biggest buyouts in college football.
Mike Norvell.
All right? You guys are going to go one by one naming somebody. And that's how you're going to get your points. Okay?
Mike Norvell.
Well,
Do,
Jay,
do we get more
hold
points
on.
for starting at the top?
No, it's all the same amount.
It's
I
like
cannot
120.
wait.
All right,
I cannot
all right.
wait to hear you guys guess for number 11. This is unbelievable. I was only gonna do top 10, but I figured
I got,
11,
maybe
someone's got to go
3
6 and
names.
5 in case there's a tiebreaker. 11 is unbelievable.
Mike
Highest
Norvell.
buyouts in college football. You two rock paper scissors for the first pick.
Nine scissors. Oh, damn it.
I wasn't in frame.
3 taps
Rock,
and go.
paper,
Paper, scissors.
shoot. You went late and you still didn't fucking beat me.
I'm going at the same time, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Keep going. Keep going.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, Jay.
Mike Norvell. Mike Norvell.
Mike Norvell in the 6 with a $59 million buyout.
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart in the 1 with a $105 million buyout.
Holy shit. Galen DeBoer.
In the 3, $61 million buyout.
Dan Lanning.
In the 7 with a $57 million buyout.
Ryan Day.
Ryan Day in the 2 with a $71 million buyout.
I got to go to another big program. It's Hugh Freeze. Give me a late one.
Wait, I have a question. Does this count Kirk Signetti's new contract that he just signed?
I believe this was as of October 8th.
When did Kirk Signetti sign his new contract? Not probably. Oh, what's the date today? Probably not in October 8th.
I'm pretty
All right.
sure Kurt signed an extension also last year. I think he signed like back to back.
I think he signed like a 2-year and then like a 6-year on top. I'm gonna go Josh Heupel, Tennessee. God, we fucking suck. Oh my god, I'm retarded.
Mario Cristobal.
Marcus Freeman.
That's so,
What?
I'm looking at teams here. Brent Venables.
Dabo Swinney.
Oh.
Dabo in the 5 with a $60 million buyout.
Brian Kelly's got to be on there.
Big game Brian in the 9, $53 million buyout. I believe
Steve
it's
Sarkisian.
Sark in the 4, $60 million buyout. Is it 5-3 right now?
I have absolutely no clue.
I have no clue.
Let's just get all 11 and call it a day.
Yeah, there's 3 more. 5-3. 5-3. Baldwin, you need the last 3.
Lincoln Riley.
Nope.
Great guess. Oh, never mind. Terrible guess.
What?
Yeah, that's embarrassing. How'd you get that?
He's
right?
like a top 5 paid coach.
Buyout's a different story.
I'm gonna.
I know, but normally they kind of go together.
You know what? I'll take a stab in the dark. Give me Lane Kiffin.
No, sir.
I'm looking at the SEC. Sharon Moore, like, no way, right? He's a new coach.
No, sir.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would have been shocked if that was up there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think. Like, I'll guess Signetti.
Sig in the 8 with a
Sig's in
$57
there now.
million buyout. So you guys need 10 and 11. No SEC coaches remain.
Well, I thought Mike Elko might have been up there. Kenny Dillingham at ASU? Could it be Boise? I mean, he said crazy. Could it be Boise State's head coach in the 11? I don't know his name, but
So, yeah, you said the 11's nuts.
is it a head coach or is it a coordinator?
Yeah, it's all head coaches.
Oh, what about Jed Fish?
10 and 11 both reside in the Big Ten.
Big Ten. Let's get a little shiesty. Oh, why am I forgetting the Iowa's coach's name? Maybe him.
Oh,
Kirk Ferentz not in there.
Okay. Does Matt Rule make the list?
Matt Rule in the 10 with a $50 million buyout.
Wow.
Illinois, Brett Bielema.
Luke.
Brett Bielema in the 11
Wow.
with a $49.5 million buyout at Illinois.
How did he secure that one at Illinois?
That's
You beat
impressive.
South Carolina in a bowl game.
That's lucky baller.
Pretty nuts. That's honestly all I had for you guys, though. Baldwin almost completed the comeback.
We almost
Not
got
really.
there.
I think you lost 7-4.
Got smoked once again.
Another hour 15. What do you
I'll be
say in
honest,
Dynasty here, Jay?
Not a great showing out of either of us, though, Baldwin.
Yeah, we got a lot of ants pretty early on, dude. But some of those are wild.
Yeah, some of those
Like,
are crazy. Like, I can't believe like a guy like Josh Heupel's not on there at a big program like Tennessee.
Like I don't know how
Not
Lincoln
really
Riley
doing
isn't on there.
anything.
Yeah, like that's crazy to me. Or like, yeah.
Whatever. What do you got?